So the older version, or I guess something older than Adam and Eve, and I'm not saying that you have to produce a dogma around this or believe it. It's not a question about whether this is real or you should believe it or not. It's just food for thought. Before Adam and Eve, the story of how man was kicked out of heaven was because of an argument that started in a fight, and the fight created this noise ruckus. And so humans were like a noisy bunch of children. They got expelled. And it's kind of like there's parallels to that in whatever's going on right now, because if you listen to like the arguments between liberals and conservatives, right? Conservatives are also dumbing down arguments. Like liberals, I would side more with the conservatives, but their arguments are also dumbed down, taking a page from something simple or clear, or something that lends a lot of perspective, and then molding it to own and trigger. So they want to own and trigger liberals, and they make arguments like I always get it mixed up. Like there was the how many genders thing, well, like gender has always been indoor, outdoor. So things that have gender are like magnetic poles, electrical outlets, like shipping docks, like something with calmer waters than the ocean, so that you would park your boat. So it's like indoor, outdoor, like a puzzle piece. Puzzle pieces have to snap together, right? So electricity, polarity, like things like that, puzzle pieces, right? It was a separate concept from sexuality, right? So if you want to quantify how many sexualities, you can't count, because every body has a little bit different. What turns on somebody could be a little bit altered and radically different, and innumerable number of sexualities, and each one sexuality is their own. Like each person's sexuality is unique and different, so you can't count them. But with the gender, you could. So the conservatives were saying, like, they had it flipped, and they were still winning the argument. They were saying, like, well, you ascribe gender to sexuality first, and then they would say, like, that there was only two sexualities. Wait, no. How is it that they were keep getting this mixed up? Like, so that we have to keep coming back to it. Like, you don't understand. What did they don't understand? They were saying something like, there's innumerable genders. Well, first you just have to recognize there's a little bit of a variability between the word gender and sexuality. Then you know what it is. What's confusing? I don't know what's confusing. Trying to own and trigger them makes you fumble your argument. So like, they might not know what a fascist is, but you're asking them what defining Nazi is or something. And, we know that they consider fascism to be authoritarian, extremist, and extremist and authoritarian, but that's not specifically that isn't specifically correlate to what that is. And you could say the same thing about socialism, like, oh, we never tried the perfect version. Anarchy, there's a perfect version of anarchy that exists, but the trial and error period is so costly that we'll never get there. Fascism, like, if it wasn't corrupted by cronyism or something, it could work, like something like so. The rare instances where fascism was attempted, they did not even actually have true fascism. They didn't have the true version. And if you want to point to what the definition is, making the corporate head this also the head of state, the only place where I can figure that happening is Islam, because they were contrived the astral plane lunar. It's a astral plane lunar contrivance, and it was offered to them by the Masons, and as a polarizing religion, which they actually run circles around a Kaaba in Mecca, like to polarize like a battery. It's like the parallels never cease. It's if you knew marketing and advertising symbolism, you would know that this is just the astral plane lunar contrivance. of some roots magic religion. It's not really a religion. It was like a way of identifying plants for medicine, food, and textiles. Like, it was regionally specific, so it only actually works in South Africa. The problem with religions being proselytized is that they get sent back to the place where they came from. Like, all the religions end up going back to Africa and fucking them up. Hinduism is a lot like Yoruba. It's like they already had it for, and then Islam was that roots magic, which is not actually magic. Anytime that they refer to something magic in Africa, it existed and it wasn't a magical system. It was like something like a Tao or a Taoism. You know, we call those magical systems because they work. Magical systems don't actually work. You lose something that you didn't appreciate beforehand going into. If you want to manipulate somebody's will, you didn't know your true power. You didn't really know who you are. So you end up losing something, right? So Taoism would be like a system that works, and then we call it a magical system. Which I'm not demonizing that. That's not wrong. Even demons existed a different way. They didn't have black magic in Egypt, and demons were just like an archetype of something that didn't quite become God. So you would work with it within your mystic systems of mysticism. You would even work with the demons too. Then there's like the Goetia. What kind of demons are those? Like, those are not in Christian demonology. They're the chambers of the inner ear. That's why there are 72 and there's 36 chambers on your inner ear on both sides. Because rise to power is a rendition of sound, and in your inner ear there are chambers that have different angles for sound resonant. What happens in reality happens in your ear first before you see it. Your brain and your eyes and the filters and everything fill out with the gaps in what you can't detect. You have multiple senses that are all derived from the one sense that you don't actually have, which is touch. Because there's no touch in anything. Like, space is the biggest part of anything. Space and vibration. Vibration and space. There's no such thing as a particle. And so what am I going back to? These, okay, so there's these things that we just can't wrap our minds around, or for some reason it's like it's trained out of us. We can't think that way. At least not without some discomfort. And Democrats and Republicans are just getting into this noisy ruckus where they both get kicked out, even though one of them might have some points and be right. It's just the fact that you're arguing and making a noise and a ruckus. And that's why if you tune into some of this stuff, like, it's just to see what they're doing and what's going on, and then you can't stand to listen to anymore. Mostly because I already know all this shit. Like, they're not going through anything new. They're just rehashing everything over and over and over again every day, fighting about the same fucking thing. And it just comes down to the context of the words you're using. Like, there's polarization going on to where it's like, these words don't mean anything, but they always meant the same thing. They always have meaning. It's just that they're moving the goalposts so that they can bring the right further left, and in that, like, there's the mental gymnastics around, like, how do I use these words? Then I have to use them a different way, otherwise they're gonna know I'm not one of them. So I'm choosing to have friends, even though, what is that? Because you can't choose to have friends. It doesn't work like that. It has to be genuine, and even then it's no guarantee. And it just doesn't work like that. So anyways, yeah, the old version of Adam and Eve. Now, I'm not saying that you have to, you could still believe in whatever, and just it's like they're both dumbing us down. And then, you know, they say things like, if you're not on our side, you must be supporting them. If you're not with us, you're against us. Silence is violence and all of this kind of shit. They're just trying to distract you. And then if you break down their, if you destroy their arguments, they get silly. It's like silly, like goofy distractions. Let's talk about aliens and stuff. And I can't even believe in aliens the same way anymore as most people think about them, especially since I know Aleister Crowley is the first alien encounter, which he basically just took elementals and like pagan stuff, like Horus and stuff, and then under his drug-induced psychosis and isolation, he like tried to summon, make contact and bind Horus. Then he had made contact with the first. So all of the aliens after that take the shape of Aleister Crowley's, you know, and there were elementals before that. Like he's the first technological elementals, and they all turn into these like alien things. It's dumbed down. It's just like Islam. It's just, those are just astral plane lunar contrivances. You think I can't see what like you think we can't see what you're doing? But anyway, because we know that the state has to take control of the unification, and the dogma is in the body politic, and part of the unification, the transfer of power is the unification being handed down to the heir. There's all right, that's it for now. I don't even know how to make this video like a good ending to it. I think it's like I just remember other shit later, and I'm just like, oh yeah, by the way, can I tack that on to this?